What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line, and it's me, Todd Bubba Horwitz, with you. And of course, we visit you once a week and kind of go and rehash some of the things that have happened as we take a look at last week in the markets. And no big deal. You know, the markets are virtually somewhere near around the flat line, with the NASDAQ a little bit higher. Because, of course, it got pounded the week before, so a little bit of a dead cat bounce. But again, from our perspective, it looks like the top of the markets are in, and we don't expect to see, much bigger things happening here. We kind of see that the markets are on their highs, and, will they go higher? Yeah, they may go a little higher. But, I mean, again, I don't think that the action will be there for you to see them go much higher. I think that the bigger opportunity is that we will start to see soon here the possible correction. I think that you've got a lot of interesting things going on, namely the commodity markets are kind of crumbling here. If you look back last week at oil, it can't seem to catch a bid, and it looks like it's going to head to our original target of 40. So that's not the end of the world. But again, from a growth standpoint, from a BS standpoint, from everything we've been told, about what we're going to expect for growth, pretty disappointing, and looking like it's going lower. And of course, we've called this move since last November, and of course now they're starting to the experts are starting to come out now and tell us that, well, maybe we're going lower now. I said, oh, gee, really? We're going lower now. I mean, we were at 55. They were going. They could only buy them. Now they only want to sell them. It's an interesting thing. But grain markets under pressure, especially soybeans. So the general commodity space are falling apart. Now that would be okay under certain circumstances, but think about it from this standpoint. These commodities are dollar-dominated commodities, and the dollar's been very weak. So, where's the flaw in the logic between markets? Bond markets, yields continue to go higher. The yields go lower, the bond futures go higher, backwards. Markets keep going higher, basically, backwards compared to the bonds. Now, one's right, one's probably wrong. Oil continuing to fall apart. Other commodities continue to fall apart. Dollar falling apart. Yields, interest rates rising. Again, counter to the bonds. The yield curve is starting to flatten. So all those things do not weigh out to be something good. Okay? But again, it doesn't mean that we're going down. And remember this, that the stock market and the economy are not necessarily related. So again, I warn you not to get too caught up in the story of what's wrong, because at the end of the day, the economy has sucked for 10 years. But the markets have gone up over 200%. So let's not confuse the issue. We know the general economy is in bad shape. Now, of course, last week we had some reports on housing, and the housing numbers were record pricing in housing. And I go, are you kidding me? What a crock of crap. Really? Now, it may be record prices in New York. It may be record prices in San Francisco. But if you go anywhere from there in, you're not seeing a lot of record prices. I know from my own personal experience, I own a house that I bought in 08 at the bottom, or 09, that was like the bottom of the market. All right. I bought the house for 40% of what it was originally appraised for at the top. All right. I put money into it, and there's no way I'm getting out of it now. Okay. Even when I got into it. So you tell me, we're going to continue to believe this garbage, that we continue to see record prices? Yeah, there's some record prices somewhere. There's always a record somewhere. All right. But is it here, and is it generally, and is it benefiting everybody else? The answer is no. It's a crock. It's another way of spinning a broken down economy. And of course, the pundits, they love to have the bullish news. They want to tell you how good everything is. But it's amazing who Robert Shiller, who's built some indexes on his own and has his own ratio and has called many of these market balloons or bubbles. And he said that his CAPE index, which is something to do with the PE ratios, is indicating the markets are in for another beatdown. But they don't want to have him on now because that's not positive. They want to have on the mumbo jumbos, the idiots on that make these ridiculous claims. We'll talk about that later. But at the end of the day, okay, we do not have a good system right now. Right now, you've got no growth. Now you can tell me all you want that, oh yeah, everything's great. Manufacturing's at record numbers. Crude oil's at record demand. Really? Well, where's the price then? If we're at record demand, why is price not rising? All right. If we've got so much growth, why are people not working? Okay. Again, you can only do things, you can only say something, but it doesn't mean anything. We do not have the participation in the job force. We do not have the things that they're telling us we have. Now, again, I remember when the election cycle started, we're going to get 4% growth. Now we're down to 3%. Well, we know that second quarter is going to be revised lower, so we might not get 2%. Now, the only way you can get this is by first allowing the money to free flow. Second, get away from the manipulation. Third, get the politicians off their ass. But of course, that's not going to happen. That is a bigger issue here, and we'll talk about that issue when we come back from the break with more of Bubba's Bottom Line. Real markets for real people, right here at the BubbaTrading.com. Make sure that you check out LibertyTalk.fm and listen to the Bubba Show every single day on radio and get that done. And of course, we're going to step out here. Bubba's Bottom Line, real markets for people. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line, real markets for real people. And, I don't know. I got to tell you. So, I talked about the BS, the phony growth that they continue to talk about, the plans that are going to happen, the healthcare, the home prices. It's all bullshit. Excuse me, but it's all bull. All right. I mean, really, when you look at it from this way. The overall healthcare plan is not going to get passed. You've already heard that the Democrats he's getting 0 votes from the Democrats. All right. And he's got 4 or 5 Republicans that are against it. And there may be more. One of the things that is bad here is you don't have even unity within your own party. Now, we've got a system that has slowly broken down over the years for stupidity. But I think the biggest imbo is Nancy Pelosi. Well, Chuck Schumer is pretty close. But Nancy Pelosi, a woman worth $100 million, out there talking about all these perks and freebies, living in San Francisco and running the party. And of course, she's now 0 for 4, 0 for 5 against her candidates running against Trump. But do we really is this the future of our country? We want some of these people in their 80s running the entire world? Now, again, there's nothing wrong with people in their 80s. I mean, I'm pretty close. But do we really want people that are completely opposite of what they're representing? I mean, doesn't that kind of reek to you? I mean, yes, Nancy Pelosi is a big fundraiser, and we know that we have the big anti-Trump here, so it was much easier for her. But you can be against Donald Trump all you want. All he's done is try to keep his promises and keep his word and continue to try to help the economy grow. Now, again, you can take whatever side you want. Look, in my opinion, both sides are broken anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can go against Donald Trump. You can go against everything. But why would you want to destroy the country over it? That's the thing that I don't understand. The president's office is bigger than everybody. Why are we trying to stop him and create so much trouble when you've got an economy that sucks, when you've got a whole system that's broken down, when you've got everybody so divided, right? I mean, take a look at this. Now, here's the big thing of the left's big thing about gun control. We heard that jackass mayor or governor or whatever from Virginia after the shooting about, getting guns off. Well, here's a good example for you. All right, this is what I've always said. In Seattle, they put a tax on it and did a lot of this gun control stuff. Their shootings and gun-related violence is higher. Well, gee, what a shock. I mean, is it not shocking that, what do you know for 100% fact? The criminals, the people that you don't want to have the guns, are going to get them. Nothing ever stops the criminals. You can go back in history, but if you can go back just to the gangster era, okay, in the 20s and the 30s, they didn't get stopped getting the guns. They're going to get the guns. So are we going to really, again, waste our time and energy on something that, first of all, is wrong? All right. Now, I understand we want to cut down violence. I'm not against it. I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment. I think that you should have the right to bear arms. But again, by taking them away from legitimate, honest Americans, you're putting them in the hands of criminals, because they're getting them no matter what. So why would you want to think that that's not going to happen? I mean, look at what's going on in this country, okay? You got that idiot actor, Johnny Depp. Oh, maybe we could kill the president. I mean, are you kidding me? Is this again, I don't understand. If they were doing these things to anybody else, there would be such outrage and such craziness going on that people would probably be getting beat up in the streets as well. I guess they already are. But is that actually legal? Is that perfectly part of the law? I don't really know. I'm throwing out the question because, again, between Kathy Griffin, between them all, are we really going to tolerate this kind of nonsense from idiots? These are the people that wanted to go to Canada if Trump won the election. So get the hell out of here. Who wants them here? They make ridiculous statements. And again, anybody can be the president, okay? But you're not disrespecting him. You're disrespecting the office of the president. And it doesn't make any sense. So I think that we're just looking at this backwards, and we're not going to get anywhere, which at the end of the day, who does that hurt? It hurts you and me, because we get the luxury of paying for all the BS that's going on. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're going to step out of here for a break, but make sure you catch the Bubba Show every single day at 2 to 3 Eastern Time on LibertyTalk.fm. Bubba's Bottom Line, Real Market Show people. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to the Bubba Show. Todd Bubba Horwitz with you. And so, obviously, unfortunately, the minimum wage debate lives on. Now, as I have said since day one of this minimum wage debate, it's ridiculous. It can't happen, because if it does happen, you are going to destroy more of the American economy, not help it. Minimum wage jobs should not be your full-time destination. Everybody, no matter what job you start out with, unless you're like a salesman or something like that you have the control over your check. But any salary job, any hourly job, you always start at the minimum of the rung. And if you do a good job, you work your way up and you make more money. So again, to continue to battle this ridiculous minimum wage is going to happen exactly what we see is happening. And now when you go to some of the McDonald's, they don't have people anymore. They've got kiosks. So you can order your food on your kiosk. You go to Sonic, they have very few employees. You can order your food on a kiosk. You go to restaurants, they don't have many waiters or waitresses anymore. They now have servers, that many fewer, because they put an iPad on your table and you order your own food. All right. So you want to continue to torture you want to continue to torture employers. Okay. Well, if you want to continue to do that, then you're going to end up with a bunch of robots. And of course, that is indeed more of the problem. That it's unfathomable that the left can't see that that if they force minimum wage higher, okay, to a ridiculous rate, they're going to lose those jobs altogether. But of course, what do they care? They'll give more entitlements out, which is another overall total joke at the end of the day. That do we really want to give all these entitlements out? You know, it's sad that we have to make so much money just to kind of skate by, and that we're making less money than we were making 20 years ago, and that our costs are higher. Yet the clueless Fed continues to talk about, well, we need inflation. Well, I don't know. I see inflation. Yeah, I know my big cost things are lower, but everything else is more expensive. And shouldn't the inflation be decided by a price discovery and a supply and demand model? When did it become the Fed's responsibility to manipulate this stuff? All they do is manipulate you into jail, right? They manipulate you into the worst possible situation. Do you ever notice that whenever the Fed's involved, you end up in the worst possible situation? And now you've got Dudley saying we've got to keep rates lower. And now all of a sudden, Lael Brainerd, oh my goodness gracious, the number one dove says, well, no, maybe we got to keep hiking here. Now, you got to tell me, do any of these people have a mind of their own? Do any of these people understand actually how a business actually works? Do any of these people actually understand how the economy really works? Yes, I know they read about it in a book. But have any of them ever had to go out there and sweat it out and have to make whatever they make, pay their bills, and try to get through and run short? Did they get the chance to print money? I don't know. Maybe they did. Maybe they're the fortunate few. But look at the clueless, imbecilic ways that you can't get one Fed director to agree back to back. They keep rotating. It's like they're trying to keep the markets in schizo. And why should they care about the stock market? The stock market has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. So what are they worried about? Why is every move they make worried whether the stock market can go down or not? You know, the stock market's going to go down. Okay, there's no question about it. There's no doubt about it. There's going to be a day it's going to go down, and it's going to go down 20, 30, 40%, like it always does. It's going to correct. We're going to go into a bear market, and it'll weed out all the crappy companies that have been somehow magically been able to stay through all this because of all this manipulation. And then we're going to see the market grow again. Today, let's say we're at 20,000. Let's say we go to 15,000. 10 years from now, we'll probably be at 30,000. I mean, again, I'm not telling you that the markets are going to end. I'm not telling you that the world's coming down. I'm telling you that just a pure probability standpoint, the markets are going to have a sell-off. Now, again, it may not be tomorrow. I mean, I heard some jamoke the other day say, well, we're going to be in 16 more years to go. I go, okay, all right, 16 years. All right, I might be dead by then, but 16 more years to go. Now, and again, even if the markets, listen, if you look at it from just a long-term standpoint, they're in a perpetual bull market, if you want to get that nuts about it, because they always end up going up. So you can look all you want at the ridiculous statements and things that are going on, but they always do go up anyways. All right, so where are these people looking at? And I would like them once, you know, maybe we should force them. I don't know, what was that movie with Mel Brooks? He went out and lived among the homeless. Right? He was a billionaire that went and lived among the homeless. Maybe we should maybe part of the restriction of these jobs to get these jobs is you got to go live among the people for a while. Instead of in your glass house trying to dictate out of a theory that never worked from the beginning. So certainly it's not going to work now, but we continue to beat that drum and let them do their thing. And quite frankly, it's annoying. And it's more annoying that they get the voice, because everyone wants to hear what they say, because obviously there's a few out there that sit there and know exactly what to do. And of course, we know what happened a while back with the inside information. So maybe they're still feeding some of these funds some inside information. Again, it's a tragedy. It's a problem. And until it resolves itself, it's going to be this kind of economy and this kind of a market. But the bottom line is you and me are going to have to pay for every stupid mistake that they make and every ridiculous decision they make. We get the bill for it. So they'll let these banks continue to grow. And of course, last week they had the stress test on these banks. And I've said this all along. It's my opinion only, not a fact, opinion, that none of the banks, or at least most of them, don't have enough money in reserve to cover what they have out on lending, but they all somehow magically pass the stress test. It's like magic. Who's the song? Oh, 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 magic. It's stupid. Again, does anybody really believe that all of those banks actually pass that stress test? And of course, the reason they allowed them to pass is why? Well, because if they get too big to fail again, if there's a problem, guess what? The Fed will bail them out, and we'll bail the Fed out. It's ridiculous. But that's enough for the moment. We're going to come back after the break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd, Bubba Horwitz, real markets, real people. Make sure you get the Bubba Show every single day, 2 to 3, libertytalk.fm. And we're going to step out and be right back with Bubba's commentary after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back to the Bubba Show. Todd, Bubba Horwitz with you. And of course, we're bringing it on home here. And of course, I love my favorite spot to get to talk about my commentary. And so I get to combine all my bitching and everything all in one time here. Look, okay, there's a couple. I'm going to sneak in a couple here because there's a couple things that really got my, I don't know if I can use the language, so I won't. But I tell you, number one, I am so sick and tired of the fear mongers out there. And I'm not going to name by name because I don't know if it's legal. But I'm so tired of turning on a news channel and seeing one of these guys out there preaching the world is coming to an end. I can't take it anymore. I can't take the group. Here's what I've heard so far in the last couple of weeks. The Dow is going to collapse to 5,000. Gold is going to 10,000. Bitcoin's going to 1 million. And the dollar is going to be worthless. Okay. Now, again, let's not forget, if we go back just a little bit in time, and that would be back to 2009, the dollar was no longer going to be the reserve currency. But somehow, magically, it gained its advantage over everybody else, didn't lose a bit, and is still magically the reserve currency. But yet, the same guys come on and write and put out information each and every week. The world's coming to an end. The world's coming to an end. Well, eventually, I'm going to be right too. If I keep saying the world's going to come to an end, eventually it will. At least I'll come to an end. But where's the credibility here? Okay? These are supposed to be people that you're supposed to respect and trust, but yet they make the same statement all the time. There's been guys calling for a collapse since 2010. All right? The same guys telling you that one of them's telling about Trump is no good and his systems, his economy is no good. Look, it's not just Trump's economy. Again, we make the mistake to think it's Trump controlling all this, okay? It's not. He's got to go through. If it was just Trump controlling all this thing, I think we'd be on our way to prosperity. We'd be quite frank with you. I mean, if he could make his decision to get rid of all those jackasses, I think we'd be in good shape. All right, but they can't do that. I mean, look, you should go right through the whole line and fire the entire Congress and Senate. But anyways, back to my original opinion, and that's I'm tired of listening to. I see commercials now. Oh, if you don't do this, the end of the world's coming. Well, I'm just saying this to you. That, yes, I have products to sell, but I'm trying to sell education to help you and you understand it. And I'm not trying to warn you that in the world or to make you afraid that the world is coming to an end tomorrow. All right. I'm trying to just show you what I think. You've never once heard me say that the end is near, maybe in a couple of stocks that retailers, but I'm tired of watching all of these financial publications that continue to preach the end of the world every day, every week, every month, when all they're doing is looking to get into people's pockets over this ridiculous noise. Now, again, is there any valid points to make? Sure, they make some valid points, but to try to wind it up into so much fear, because, look, we're all emotional. Human beings are emotional. We react to emotion. So if you get afraid enough, you might step in. And again, why is it that we can't tell it like it is, that the market should probably have a correction, okay? The world's not coming to an end, okay, today. And besides the fact, with all the central banks around, they'd never let it come to an end right now. So why are we so intent on letting these fear guys, fear mongers, I call them, get their message out when all they're doing is creating a rift everywhere? And they're wrong. That's the biggest thing. They're wrong. Their examples are wrong. Okay, not that they're wrong that it might not collapse. Sure, it possibly could. But they're wrong about the way that they bring it out. I mean, Trump doesn't have the decision to know what's going on most of these things. Okay, there's things that are going on. It just doesn't make any sense. But yet they parade them out. Why? Oh, they must bring ratings. And of course, that's another thing. We've become, obviously, we're a capitalistic system, which I appreciate. But we're bringing out to improve ratings, okay, versus actually provide information. So, anyways, hey, look, we've got lots of stuff coming up still. July 4th, holiday weekend, coming next weekend. Bottom line is markets are kind of wishy-washy. I don't expect anything major here. There is something that the markets are waiting for, some big announcement, something. But at the end of the day, there's no reason to get overly crazy involved anywhere here. Be patient, observe, look for opportunities. Everybody have a great weekend. I always appreciate seeing you here. This is Todd Bubba Horwitz, Bubba's Bottom Line, real markets, real people. And don't forget the Bubba Show every day, 2 to 3 Eastern Time, libertytalk.fm. Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody.